Tiwani, open this door now! What are you doing in my daughter's room? Who is this man in your house?
This was not the daughter he raised. And this was not the school he was paying for. Adeyemi da Silva grew up in a two-room apartment in Mushin, the third of 7 children. His father was a mathematics teacher who believed that respect and education were the twin pillars that held up a man's life. Every morning before school, young Adeyemi and his siblings would kneel to greet their parents before receiving their blessings for the day. His father never raised his voice. He didn't need to. By the time Adeyemi was 25, he had completed his degree in civil engineering at the University of Ibadan, secured a job with a construction firm, and begun building the life his father had taught him to want: stable, respectable, honorable. Then he met Chinelo at a wedding in Victoria Island. She was Igbo, from Anambra, the daughter of a wealthy businessman who dealt in importation. She laughed freely, spoke her mind without apology, and challenged him on everything from politics to religion. Their families were skeptical: Yoruba and Igbo, different languages, different customs. But Adeyemi and Chinelo were certain. Love is not tribal, Chinelo told her father. No, her father replied, but marriage is. They married anyway, with 2 separate ceremonies and twice the family drama. But they made it work. They built a home in Ikeja, filled with the smell of both Yoruba and Igbo traditional foods. And then, Tiwani Chidinma Adeyemi da Silva was born. Tiwani was her father's heart walking outside his body. She had Adeyemi's wide forehead and Chinelo's bright eyes. As a baby, she rarely cried. As a toddler, she learned to read before she could tie her shoes. In primary school, she won every spelling bee, every debate competition, every academic prize the school offered. This one would be something great, neighbors would say, watching her help her father calculate measurements for a backyard project or listen intently as her mother explained Igbo proverbs. Adeyemi doted on her shamelessly. When she wanted a bicycle, he bought her the best one in the shop, even though Chinelo said it was too expensive. When she asked for a laptop in JSS 3, he bought it the next day, ignoring Chinelo's protest that she was too young. She needs it for her studies, Adeyemi would say. She needs discipline more, Chinelo would reply, hands on her hips in the kitchen. You are spoiling this girl, Ode. You are giving her everything she asks for. What will happen when life tells her no? Why should life tell her no when I am here to say yes? Chinelo would sigh, shaking her head. The Igbo have a saying, the child who is carried on the back does not know how far the journey is. You are carrying her too much, my husband. But Adeyemi couldn't help himself. Tiwani was everything he'd worked for. She was respectful, she knelt to greet him every morning, addressed him as Sir, never talked back. She was brilliant, her WAEC results were stunning, 6A1S, 2B2S. She was beautiful, tall and graceful, with her mother's smooth skin and her father's strong jawline. When her JAMB results came in and she was admitted to study mass communication at the University of Lagos, Adeyemi threw a small party. He invited friends, family, and neighbors. He stood in the center of his living room and raised a glass of Chapman.
To my daughter, the first Adeyemi to attend Unilag. She will make us proud.
Everyone clapped. Tiwani smiled, shy and beautiful in her Ankara dress. Chinelo stood in the corner, watching her husband and daughter with a small, worried frown that no one else noticed. Tiwani moved into her hostel room in Moremi Hall on a hot October afternoon. Adeyemi helped carry her boxes up 3 flights of stairs, bags of clothes, a standing fan, a small television, provisions enough for a month. Chinelo fussed over the mosquito net, insisting they hang it properly.
I don't want mosquitoes to finish my daughter, oh. Mommy, I'll be fine.
Before they left, Adeyemi pressed a thick envelope into her hand, 100,000 naira for emergencies. Chinelo gave her a long look.
Remember the daughter of who you are. Remember where you come from.
Yes, ma.
For the first few weeks, Tiwani did remember. She attended her 8 a.m. introduction to mass communication lectures. She joined the Christian Fellowship. She video called her parents every Sunday evening to report on her week. But by mid-November, things began to shift. Her roommate, Bisola, was from a wealthy family in Lekki. Bisola wore Brazilian hair that cost more than Tiwani's entire semester allowance. She attended parties in VIP sections of clubs in Victoria Island. She dated men who drove Range Rovers and sent her money through bank transfers that made Tiwani's eyes widen.
Toluwani, stop forming church girl. You're in Unilag now, not your father's house. Come out with us. Live small.
Tiwani hesitated. But the music from Bisola's phone was loud and infectious, and the idea of staying in the hostel on a Friday night while everyone else was out suddenly felt unbearably lonely. Just this once, she told herself. She wore Bisola's dress and squeezed into the back of a Benz with 4 other girls. They went to a club in Lekki where the bass shook the floor and the drinks flowed endlessly. A man bought her a bottle of Ciroc. Another man asked for her number. She danced until her feet hurt, until the room spun, until she forgot entirely about the 8 a.m. lecture she'd planned to attend the next morning. She woke up at 2 p.m. on Saturday with a pounding headache and 17 missed calls from her mother. Just this once became twice. Then weekly. Then no more. By second semester, Tiwani had stopped attending most of her morning classes. She told herself,
Oh, I'll catch up with class later. I'll even borrow notes. It's not a big deal.
her grades slipped from S to CS, but she convinced herself it was temporary. What wasn't temporary was the money. Going out required money. Looking good requires money. Keeping up with Bisola and the other girls whose fathers were senators and oil moguls, required more money than Adeyemi's monthly allowance could cover. So she began to call.
Daddy, good afternoon, sir. I'm fine, sir. It is 50,000 naira.
The lecturer said if we don't buy it by Monday, we'll lose marks. Adeyemi didn't hesitate.
Send your account number. I'll send it now.
Thank you, Daddy. God bless you, sir.
2 weeks later, Daddy, we have a departmental project. We need to rent equipment. My group members are asking for 70,000 naira from each person. 3 weeks after that, Daddy, my laptop spoiled. The screen cracked. I need to fix it urgently because I have an assignment due. Every time, Adeyemi sent the money. Every time, he asked no questions. Every time, he told Chinelo she needs it for school. What kind of father would I be if I said no? Every time, Chinelo's frown deepened.
Ade, call that girl. Talk to her. Something is not right.
You worry too much. She's fine. She's just adjusting to university life. But Chinelo couldn't shake the feeling, the mother's instinct, that something was wrong. She'd call Tiwani at random times and find her asleep at 2 p.m., or breathless and distracted, or surrounded by noise that didn't sound like a library. Tiwani, where are you? I'm in my friend's room. We are studying. Studying. I hear music. It's just the neighbor's room, Mommy. It's loud here. The lies came easier now. Tiwani had learned to smooth her voice, to add small details that made the stories believable. And Adeyemi, who wanted so desperately to believe his daughter was still the girl who knelt to greet him every morning, refused to see the signs. Until the day he decided to visit. It was a Thursday in late April, and Adeyemi woke up with an uneasy feeling in his chest. He'd sent Tiwani 55,000 naira 3 days ago for course registration fees, but when he called to confirm she'd paid, her phone was switched off. He called again at noon. Off. At 2 p.m., he called Chinelo at her shop. Have you spoken to Tiwani today? No. Her phone is not going through. Mine too. There was a long pause. Then Chinelo said quietly, Ode, go and see her. See her. In school. Yes. Go today. Now. Don't call. Just go. Adeyemi wanted to argue, but the unease had grown into something heavier, something cold. He told his site supervisor he was leaving early, got into his Camry, and began the long, slow crawl through Lagos traffic from Ikeja to Yoba. The roads were choked. Downfall buses honked aggressively, weaving through lanes. Hawkers knocked on his window, selling everything from phone chargers to roasted plantain. The sun beat down mercilessly, turning his car into an oven despite the air conditioning. By the time he reached Akoka, it was almost 5 p.m. He'd been to Tiwani's hostel once before, during her first week, so he knew the way. But when he arrived at Moemi Hall and asked the porter for Tiwani Adeyemi de Silva, the woman looked at him strangely. Tiwani. She no dey here again. What do you mean? She moved out last semester. She dey one apartment for off-campus. Adeyemi's stomach tightened. Off-campus. She didn't tell me. The porter shrugged. Ask her roommate. Bisola. Room 204. He found Bisola painting her nails on her bed, Afrobeats blasting from a small speaker. When he knocked, she looked up, annoyed, until she saw the look on his face. Good evening, sir. I'm looking for my daughter. Tiwani. Where is she? Bisola hesitated, then scribbled an address on a piece of paper. Just ask for the yellow building near Unilag Gate. Adeyemi took the paper, his hands trembling slightly. The building was easy to find, a 3-story yellow structure with peeling paint and rusted balconies. Loud music poured from several apartments. The smell of weed drifted down from somewhere above. Adeyemi climbed the stairs slowly, his heart pounding. Apartment 7B. He knocked. Shuffling. Whispers. Then silence. He knocked again, harder.
Tiwani, open this door now!
More shuffling. The sound of something falling. Then, finally, the door creaked open. And there he was. The man in the towel. Adeyemi's vision tunneled. He saw the bottles. The plates. The bra on the couch. And then he saw her, his daughter, his Tiwani, standing in the bedroom doorway in a man's shirt, her face pale with shock.
Daddy, who is this man in your house?
The man grabbed his clothes from the couch, mumbling something incoherent, and bolted past Adeyemi into the corridor. Adeyemi didn't try to stop him. His eyes were locked on Tiwani. Daddy, I can explain. Explain what? He stepped inside, looking around the apartment with growing horror. Explain why you are living here instead of your hostel. Explain why there is a man in your house.
Explain why your books are in the corner still wrapped while you are here drinking and...
Daddy, please, I'm sorry.
Tiwani, I sent you money for course registration. Where is it? I sent you money for textbooks, for project, for your laptop. Where is it?
Daddy, I spent it, okay? I spent it on rent, on clothes, on going out.
Adeyemi stumbled backward as if she'd struck him. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he whispered, Tiwani, you have killed me. The words hung in the air, heavy. He turned and walked toward the door, then stopped.
I will not send you any money again, not for rent, not for food, not for anything. You want to be a woman? Go and be a woman, but you will do it without my money.
Daddy, please.
The door closed. Tiwani sank to the floor, sobbing, as her father's footsteps echoed down the stairwell and disappeared into the Lagos night. The first week, Tiwani told herself it would be fine. Her father was angry, but he'd calm down. He always did. He'd send money soon. But no money came. She called him. His phone rang, but he didn't answer. She called her mother. Chinelo picked up, her voice cold. Your father told me what he saw. Mommy, please, I can explain.
There is nothing to explain, Toluwani. You have disgraced us. You have disgraced yourself.
Mommy, do not call this house again until you are ready to be the daughter we raised. The line went dead. By the second week, the man, whose name was Toby, though Toluwani had never bothered to learn his last name, stopped answering her calls. He'd been generous when things were good, buying her credit, taking her to restaurants, but now that she needed help, he vanished like smoke. Bisola and the other girls drifted away too. Without money for clubs or drinks or expensive brunches, Toluwani had nothing to offer them. Their group chats went quiet whenever she sent a message. By the third week, her landlord knocked on her door, his face hard. Rent is due. I need a few more days. She had nowhere to go. She started skipping meals. One meal a day became the norm, usually just rice and stew from a nearby buka, the cheapest thing she could find. She lost weight. Her clothes hung loose on her frame. The Brazilian hair extensions she'd spent 250,000 naira on grew matted and dirty because she couldn't afford to maintain them. She tried to go back to class, to salvage what was left of the semester, but she'd missed too much. The lecturers looked at her with pity or contempt. One professor said,
Not. Toluwani, if you cannot take your education seriously, perhaps you should not be here.
She stopped going entirely. By the fourth week, she was sick. A persistent cough that rattled in her chest, chills that left her shivering under a thin blanket, a fever that came and went. She needed a hospital, but she had no money for treatment. She lay on her mattress, where her life used to feel exciting and full, and stared at the ceiling, too weak to cry. Her phone buzzed. The landlord, you have 24 hours. Chinelo was at her shop in Ikeja, arranging new shipments of Ankara fabric, when her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Mrs. Adeyemi. A young woman's voice, shaky and uncertain. Yes. Who is this? My name is Bisola. I was your daughter's roommate. Ma, I don't know if I should be calling you, but something is wrong with Toluwani. Chinelo's blood ran cold. What do you mean wrong? I went to check on her today. She's very sick, Ma. She can't even stand. And Ma, she has nowhere to go. Her landlord is throwing her out. Chinelo didn't wait. She closed the shop, called Adeyemi, and within an hour, they were in the car, speeding toward a coca. Adeyemi drove in silence, his jaw tight, his hands gripping the steering wheel so hard. Chinelo wanted to say something, anything, but the words wouldn't come. When they arrived at the yellow building, they climbed the stairs together. The door to apartment 7B was unlocked. Inside, the apartment was worse than Adeyemi remembered. Garbage overflowed from a small bin. The air was stale and sour. And there, on a thin mattress on the floor, lay Toluwani. She was skeletal. Her cheeks were hollow, her eyes sunken. The oversized t-shirt she wore, the same one from that terrible day, hung on her like a shroud. When she saw them, she tried to sit up, but the effort was too much. She collapsed back, coughing. Daddy, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Daddy. I'm sorry. Adeyemi stood frozen in the doorway, staring at the ghost of his daughter. Chinelo rushed forward, kneeling beside the mattress, her hands trembling as she touched Toluwani's burning forehead. Jesus Christ. Ade, we need to take her to the hospital now. But Adeyemi didn't move. He couldn't. He looked at the bottles, still scattered on the floor. At the textbooks, still in their plastic. At the life his daughter had chosen instead of the one he'd worked so hard to give her. Toluwani's eyes found his. Tears slipped down her gaunt cheeks. Daddy, please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He opened his mouth to speak, but no sound came. Finally, In a voice that cracked with all the weight of his broken heart, he said, "Sorry cannot bring back what you have lost." Chinelo gathered Toluwani into her arms, wrapping her thin body in her wrapper, and carried her toward the door. Adeyemi followed, his steps heavy, his shoulders bowed. As they descended the stairs, Toluwani buried her face in her mother's shoulder and whispered one last time, "I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry." But some lessons come after everything has been lost. And some words, once spoken, can never repair what has been shattered.